This is the face of a little boy who looks like he was going through hell, and that's because he was. The story you're about to hear is one of the worst cases involving children out of Arkansas. I'll take you through the investigation step by step, but be warned, it's going to get very hard to hear the details of this real-life nightmare later on in the video. But we're going to start at the start. Also, the names Blu and Taylor were initially censored out of the evidence before they were made public.
And she, said something about little boy. Was he with me?
I've used AI to clone those sentences back in. They're accurate to both the audio and the transcripts, but you might notice a slight change in vocal tone revolving around those names.
And she, she said something about the little boy, Blu. Was he with me?
The hours of police interviews have also been condensed and edited down. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ashley, what happened to your daughter? Why is she burn up so bad?
If it's bad things you do,
No, she was burned until you told me, sir.
they will repay you. You may not want them to, but they'll come for you and they'll grab you when you do bad stuff. Your world will get rough.
Ashley Rolland and Nathan Bridges didn't have any children together. And while they did live together, they had only been a couple for less than a year at the end of 2022. Going into their relationship, Nathan already had 2 kids from a previous failed marriage. Ashley also had a 5-year-old son named Blu and a 6-year-old daughter named Taylor. While Ashley had married their father Dustin Rolland and even taken his last name, he wasn't in the picture much when it came to the children. The reason for his absence isn't exactly clear, but what is clear is the fact that both paternal and maternal grandparents fought for visitation rights to see Blu and Taylor Rolland. This includes Ashley's father, Timothy Childers. Timothy hadn't seen his grandkids in a couple of months, but he claimed they were perfectly healthy the last time he'd been in their company. About a month prior to December 17, 2022, his daughter Ashley Rolland stopped responding to him entirely. According to Timothy, he had dropped by Ashley and Nathan's house about 2 weeks prior to the night in question, but the couple refused to let him in. Fast forward to December 16th. After receiving an urgent call from Karen Rolland, the paternal grandmother of Blu and Taylor, Timothy was made aware that Taylor was in the hospital. She was receiving medical treatment in Forest City, Arkansas. Upon his arrival to her location, he was shocked to find his granddaughter in an awful state. He described seeing severe burns to her back, legs, chest, and even face. He also noted that the 6-year-old girl's bottom was bruised, and her once long shoulder-length hair had all been cut off. Taylor Rolland appeared malnourished and even had sores on her feet and toes. Unable to calm himself down, Mr. Childers gathered a few friends and decided to swing by Ashley and Nathan's house looking for a good old-fashioned what for, eventually even forcing their way into the home and turning it upside down in search of 5-year-old Blu Rolland. But the child was nowhere to be seen, and neither was Nathan Bridges, who had fled as soon as the group made entry. This case is one of the most shocking and unsettling cases to ever come out of my home state of Arkansas. The events that unfold were needless, disturbing, and as with any case involving children, heartbreaking. Most of the evidence you'll see and hear has never been witnessed by the public. The audio you're about to listen to is Timothy Childers' interview with the police moments after they arrived at Ashley and Nathan's house. The details revealed and what was discovered that night are unforgettable. And while shrouded in darkness, this story does not end without light. I'm MrBlack, and this is One Crime.
Just begin by telling me kind of what happened.
I got a call from my grandma, and she told me that my granddaughter was in the hospital with a lot of burns on her and stuff, Forest City. So she told me to come up there and look. So I went to the hospital, And she was in bad shape. She had burns all over her, malnutrition. She was just sick, bad. Feet was hurting and everything. And she, she said something about the little boy, Blue. Was he with me? I said, no, he was, let her know that she'd be alright, we were going to take care of her. So I told Grandma and Dad that I would find Blue. I'd find my grandson, And so the cop at the hospital said if he found Blue, he'd call me. He hadn't called me, So I got some of my friends and come up here. Knocked on the door, and the boyfriend answered the door, Nathan. And we asked him where Blue was at. He said he didn't know. And, eventually we got in the house. Searched the house, for him. And Nathan disappeared. Couldn't find him once we got in the house. And I tried to talk to my daughter, Ashley, about what happened to Blue. And she was telling me about Taylor in the hospital with the burns. And I've asked her how come she didn't, call an ambulance or take her to a doctor. And said she had an appointment with a doctor Monday or something, but I don't know. So I knew something was wrong because it just didn't feel right. Of course, my friends would tore the house apart trying to find him or the baby. Couldn't find either one of them. And I finally, had to get everybody out of the house so I could talk to my daughter alone to find out what happened, And she finally told me that it was an accident, she said. She said he was in the bathroom and he came out and he passed out on the floor, and she tried to resuscitate him, but he had passed away, and he was buried underneath the floor in the hallway.
What's your daughter's name, Mr. Childers?
Ashley Rolland.
Ashley Rolland?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got everybody out of the house. This house right over here at 211?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Like we tore the house apart,
Right. And what do you remember exactly what you asked her? Did you say where is?
I said, what happened to where, just where is it at? If there's accidents happen, just tell the truth, just tell what happened to him. We just wanted to find out where he was at. And no matter what, no matter how bad it was.
Right.
Took a long time, but finally she told me he was gone.
And she said that, what's your grandson's name?
His name's Blue.
Is that a nickname or a given name?
It's a given name.
Okay. And she said, did she say what night? How many days ago?
No.
No. But he gotten out of the bathtub and collapsed in the hallway, is what Ashley told you, is that correct?
I think she said in the living room.
Of the living room? Okay.
Ashley Rolland never told her father exactly how long Blue had been buried underneath the floor of the house, but she did admit that Nathan was the one that put him there. Ashley also told Timothy that the day the 5-year-old died, he had come out of the bathroom and simply collapsed in the living room. As soon as Timothy Childers heard the news, he made everyone leave the residence and then called the cops. Shortly after the authorities arrived, they found Blue's burial place under a carpet beneath the wood floor of the hallway. While the cops were on their way, Ashley agreed to speak outside with another woman who was at the house looking for answers. This woman's name is Rebecca Fitting. She's the ex-wife of Nathan Bridges. She's also the mother of Nathan's 2 children who often spend time at the house in question. Rebecca was able to shed more light on what it was like being in a relationship with Nathan.
Alright, Rebecca, tell me to start kind of from the beginning on the events that transpired today. And
all right, it was about between 8 and 9 when a concerned friend had heard that a DHS worker was coming to Morrow. Now, this house that they were going into is my ex-husband. He had my kids Thursday night, and he brought them home Friday. I have full custody of them, but I allow him visitation. So she thought that it was my kids because she had heard from another person that there was a little girl involved in burns on her body and had her hair cut. And they were concerned that it was my little girl. So that's how I got involved. I called my ex-husband's mom because that's the only way I could get a hold of them. But she wasn't around them, so I asked her what was going on. And I said, and they're also looking for Blue, which is the baby boy. Me and Ashley, the mother of the children, we had spent some time not alone together or nothing like that. We went to like the graduation for my daughter for kindergarten, and you know, anytime that they came in pick up the kids, she was there, you know.
Okay.
And so we were acquainted.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to find out where this boy is. Because I already know she's lying because she was telling everybody that the boy was at the grandpa's house, but the grandpa was actually here looking for the boy. So I got in my truck and I came over here. Nathan was not here by then. So when I pulled up here, I started banging on the door because the door was locked. The grandpa was in there. He unlocked the door. And he was like, no, just let me talk to her. Just let me talk to her. And I was like, no, I'm not going to hurt her. I'm not going to put my hands on her and nothing like that. I'm not that evil person, you know. I'm not going to beat your butt. But I said, just let me talk to her. She will talk to me. Because I'm a mom, and I figured mom to mom would be best. I have young kids, I understand.
Sure.
So when he wouldn't let me in any further than the doorway, I called her name. I screamed her name. I said, Ashley, Ashley, come here, please, just talk to me. Mm-hmm. So she came out of the living room and came to me.
Okay.
And she was like, look, she told, I guess that's her dad, I'm not too sure. She told him, let me talk to Danielle. Just let me talk to Danielle, which that's my middle name.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You go by Danielle.
Okay. Yeah. I said, Ashley, come out to my truck with me. And the father was like, no, she don't need to go out there. All them people are going to jump on her. I said, no, they're not. I said, if I tell them, don't touch her, they won't touch her because they're family. So we get in my truck. And I said, Ashley, where is he? She said, she bowed her head, she started to cry, which, I'm sorry, there was no tears coming out of her eyes. It was more like acting to me, it felt like. She said he is in the hallway between the bathroom and the closet in the hallway. He's under the floorboard, or under the floor, you know, buried under there. And I asked her, I said, did Nathan have anything to do with it? Which is my ex-husband. She said no.
What did she say happened?
She said he was coming out of the bathroom, and she said that she turned and looked at him and saw that something wasn't right. She was saying that his face started swelling up, then his body started swelling up, and that he was foaming, and then he just fell. He just collapsed in the hall. To be honest with you, I stepped out of the vehicle because I really needed a minute because I couldn't. My kids have been in this house, you know what I mean?
I understand.
And I had no idea.
I'm a father too.
And so I just had to take a minute, and by that time, the cops had officially arrested her out of the truck. So when I asked her if Nathan was involved, she told me no. But my ex-husband was very abusive to me. He was very abusive.
How so?
There was a couple times that I thought he was going to shoot me and my kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Did he ever hit you?
Oh yeah. I don't know if they're still there. There's a whole body hole from me being thrown into a wall. There's doors in the closets in the kids' rooms where he put my head through the wall. He choked me while I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter. I completely blacked out. There was this one time where we lived in Aubrey, and I was wanting to leave, and he would not. He wouldn't even let me out of the room. Every time I would get up, he would throw me back down onto the bed. We were out with my son, my oldest son, behind his mom's house. We would go out there and shoot because it's a wood and it had a creek.
Yeah.
And I went to pull the automatic back, and it chipped when it came back down. It chipped off a little bit, and he pointed the gun at me and got physically, like, verbally mad, like pissed off.
Yeah.
It scared me.
So you know Nathan as a violent person, abusive person.
But when we got a divorce, the last few years, it seemed like he had changed because he hasn't really been any meanness, you know. We were co-parenting.
Sure.
It's great. You know, it's been really good. You know, the kids haven't had any complaints or anything, because I would tell them, you know, hey, if there's anything that scares y'all or anything like that, you tell me, okay?
Yeah.
You know, and so far, I haven't had any problems, you know?
Yeah, your kids haven't come home
No.
acting different, but strange bruises, anything like that?
No.
Okay.
After Rebecca found out that Taylor Rolland was in the hospital, she decided to ask her own children about the little girl. They said that Taylor was kept in her room most of the time and only allowed out to use the bathroom. They also claimed that they were treated better than the 6-year-old. When asked why Taylor's hair had been cut off, the kids explained that she had gotten bubble gum in it. But when Rebecca received images of Taylor in the hospital, it became clear that this was not the case. After all, bubblegum doesn't leave burns all over a child. One of the last pieces of information that Rebecca divulged shows just how depraved this child's environment was and how desperate she'd become in the midst of her horrible treatment.
Recently, like just before you walked over there, I was on the phone with Nathan's mom, Sheila. She said that they've been having problems out of Taylor for the last couple months with banging her head against the wall and eating her own feces and peeing on herself, and that they lock her in that room. I wanted that baby. I would have come and got both of them. All she had to do was call me, because you see this shit on TV. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You see this shit on TV, right? The crazy thing is I lived in this home. And my kids have been playing in this home. Been staying here every other weekend. And I don't know how long that poor baby's been there.
Rebecca has just told the interviewing officer some disturbing information that is likely yet to fully sink in for herself. Remember, this is all information she received only moments prior to this interview. This means these are details she's probably never had a chance to say out loud. I can't imagine what was going through her mind that evening. You're hearing a mother realize that her kids have been stepping over the hidden corpse of a child that died under mysterious circumstances and went unreported in a house that she used to live in with her abusive ex-husband. But she's also coming to terms with the fact that the deceased little boy's surviving sister has been through a nightmare. You can hear the pain in this woman's voice. The sheer regret of being unaware that these children needed help literally seeps through the cracks that house the tears she's holding back. These are kids, she knew. I believe Rebecca would have done anything she could had she known they were in trouble. And yes, Nathan had harmed her in the past, but he didn't seem to have a major history of being violent with children. One can certainly be forgiven for believing that a past volatile relationship was rooted in a youthful lack of experience. It's true. People can change, and I believe Rebecca thought her ex-husband Nathan Bridges had. Unfortunately, I think she was right. I just don't think he changed for the better, but rather for the worse. I think Nathan just got better at hiding it. We're going to get to all that, but the next person the police interviewed was Ashley Rolland. This is her first of 2 very different voluntary statements, and I'm sure we're all real eager to hear what this little bumper sticker has to say.
Hey, I'm Travis May.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I wish we was on better terms.
Actually, before we get started, you know how things go. I'm sure you've seen cops and all that type of stuff, and the nature and the scope of what's going on today. We got to read you your rights, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can you read and write well? Okay. All right, Ashley. I know this has been a really, really hard day for you, and I'm sure it's been a really, really hard time coming, okay? But what we need from you is just to know what happened, okay? Because we know you have a side of the story to tell, and we need to know what happened, all right? Will you tell us what happened, Ashley?
I'm hurting from earlier. A woman pushed me before cops came to the house, and my head's just splitting really bad. I want to talk. I just started really bad. Had a real long day.
Well, you take your time. Okay, we're just here to listen to your story, okay?
Ashley, let's start from the beginning, okay? Let's just start a little bit from the beginning, okay? Let's talk about your day. Go ahead and tell this officer what happened with your day today, okay? Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. Okay. Let's just try to start a little bit from the beginning. You're okay, just take your time.
Woke up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Gave Taylor some breakfast cereal, oatmeal. It's like an off-brand of Fruit Loops in a bag. And I was just giving her some cereal. And Nathan took his kids over to his brother's house so they could play with their cousins. I stayed at home to make sure she was okay because she's still healing from the allergic reaction that she had. I don't know how to explain it. It was, her face swelled up about a week ago when she was healing from it. And I just wanted to stay home with her and take care of her today. And the next thing I know, a cop is knocking on my door with Karen and her mom. And they said that they had to take the kids away. I didn't know why. I mean, I know I missed court yesterday because the stupid truck and the battery wouldn't start. I explained to both her and the police officer that please don't freak out. She's still healing from her allergic reaction. Please don't pick her up and it's, harsh or nothing. Be gentle with her. That's all I asked. I said, and please, whatever you do, please do not give her any mustard. Because I'm pretty sure because it was the last thing that she ate, but I don't know how allergic reactions work. And I dressed Taylor, put socks and shoes on her, and a coat, and a hat, make sure she was warm. Her hair was a little short. She had an incident a few months ago back in summer. She ended up, she was outside playing with the kids and stuff, and had instant warm oil on her hair. I don't know why. I tried to save her hair. I tried to, not cut her or anything. It just kept falling out. So I ended up patting it about her hair so that her hair felt natural. And I was trying to carefully take Taylor inside, and next thing I know, her grandmother snatched her from me and said, "This is Blue." And I was freaking out about her hair and stuff, and I was trying to explain to her about that. I know it makes me look like a bad mother. I feel bad that she ended up having her hair cut like that. I wish it didn't happen. I wish that I could have prevent her hair from falling out like that, and had something I could put in her hair to prevent it from happening. And I didn't know she was allergic to anything. She's always had a lot of medical issues since she was born. Yeah, she's always been the one that got sick. Yeah, I always took care of her. Even though I don't know, I always loved her, always took care of her, no matter how large she was trying to be on me. I don't know, I was like, she was not really a whole lot of physical violence towards me, just, saying mean things to me, not doing what I asked her to. I tried to get her to her schoolwork. She wanted that because I had to put her in homeschool because she kept peeing on herself a lot, and the school wouldn't take her. I couldn't understand why she was peeing on herself so much. And she just kept telling, because her grandma always let her pee in the bed with her, so she thought that it was okay for her to pee on herself and be changed. And I kept telling her, I said, "Can't do this, it's not healthy, it's not healthy for your body, it's not healthy for you to sleep in your bed like that. I want to keep you clean, I want to keep your bed clean."
Anybody else come to your house today, Ashley?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Out of nowhere, just a whole bunch of people showed up. My dad was outside. Some other guy that I don't even know who he is, and I was trying to talk to my dad, and I was like, too many people. I have really bad anxiety issues. I don't like talking to too many people at once because I just shut down. I don't like too many people at once. And I didn't even get to say anything to anybody. And the dude that I didn't even know had got a phone call about something. And he yelled out, and I was like, "What did you say?" Because I didn't know what was going on. I was sitting there trying to talk to my dad, and I was at the doorway just talking to him. And then out of nowhere, Crystal ends up pushing me against the door, and I'm like, from that desk to there, from the door, and I'm hitting my head. I guess that's why it hurts so bad. I've never gotten in a fight. I've always got to stay out of violence.
Did you have a conversation with your dad, Ashley?
Yes, I did.
What'd y'all talk about?
Our family kids. And it made me really upset that my ex and his mother, the person that I had my first kid with, was outside with his mom and his sister, and that really made me upset because they have nothing to do with anything. I haven't seen them in years, and that just really made me upset.
What did you talk with your dad about, Ashley?
Talked with him about the kids, and he was talking about Taylor first, and I just found out Taylor got sent to the hospital. I'm trying to calm myself down because hearing about her being in the hospital, it freaks me out. I'm like, hearing her being hurt, like, I don't want to see her in the hospital. She's been in the hospital way too much as a kid, being sick all the time. She ended up having a heart murmur when she was born, and then having eye surgery. She's just been through way too much. And I just wanted to show her that if I could take care of her, and she didn't have to.
What did y'all talk about after you talked about Taylor? What did you tell your dad about Blue, Ashley?
Still, anyone to hate me. I feel bad enough for everything.
Nobody's gonna hate you, Ashley.
They do. Everyone hates me. It's something that I couldn't help.
I don't believe.
I heard enough as a mother.
Do what?
I heard enough as a mother. Okay? I lost too much. I don't have anything left. And hurting so bad.
Ashley, listen. You are a good mother, okay? You were just sitting here telling us about all the conditions. Okay? Well, just listen. You were sitting here just telling us about all the conditions.
Everything you knew about Taylor.
You knew every part of it. You knew every single thing that she's ever gone through. Okay? First, you got to quit thinking that you're a bad mother. Okay? It don't matter what people think. Okay? It don't matter what people think. You got to know in your heart what you are.
I do know that.
And I believe that with all my heart, okay?
I love those kids. I would never hurt anybody. I've always helped people. I've never gotten in trouble. This is the first time me ever being in handcuffs is. So.
Well, I know.
I blame myself, okay? I feel because I'm the mother, I'm supposed to make sure that you're okay. I don't know what happened. I know. I feel so odd.
A lot of things are out of our control as parents, Ashley. Okay.
It happened so fast. I don't know how to explain it.
What happened, Ashley? It's okay.
Where do I start? I mean, it just happened so
From the beginning.
I don't. Because he was never the one that gets sick. He would always, if he got sick, he'd be sick for a day or two and he'd be fine. He always had a strong immune system, and I thought he would never get sick. It always, and then, it's just, he was the huge mama's boy. Birthday was today.
It's today.
It's her. I'm 60. I don't know how to explain it.
Just tell us what happened, Ashley. It's okay. We just need to know what happened. All right?
I don't even know what exactly happened. It just happened so fast.
What happened? It's okay. Whatever you can remember, it's okay.
All I know is that he went to the bathroom and he came out and he wasn't acting right at all. I don't know what happened. He just fell and I was trying to help him so I could get him to the hospital. I didn't know what happened. I don't know. That's why it hurts me so much, because I'm his mother. I'm supposed to know. And I don't know. I'm hurting so bad because the mother's supposed to know what happens to their kids. It was supposed to know every detail and to make sure it's okay. And it hurts me the most that I don't know what happened. I've been so sad and hurt. Because I haven't been the same since then, because I don't know what happened. It just hurts too much. And I try to think about what could have caused it, what could have happened. Did he get in something I don't know about? I don't know, and it hurts that I don't know.
I understand.
I love that voice so much. And I cared about her too. I cared about both of them. That's why I wanted to get away from their dad, because he was into alcohol too much, and I didn't want them to see their dad like how their dad died from alcohol. I didn't want them to go through that, because he put it through him through so much pain.
Sure.
I didn't want the kids to see that.
You're a good mom, Ashley. Can you remember if Blue said anything to you when he came out of the bathroom? Say his tummy hurt? Did he say anything like that?
Just walking by. His eye was kind of like unresponsive, kind of looking like he just threw it backwards. I'm like, you okay? What's wrong, boo-boo? That's what I was thinking with Boo-Blue. And he fell. I don't know what happened. It was so fast. I rushed to. Sure, I hope him. I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. And I was trying to. He didn't have pulse. His pulse was getting weaker. And like I said, I don't know what happened. It just happened so fast. I don't know what he got into. And it hurts me that I don't know that.
Was anybody home with you when it happened? Who was with you, Ashley? It's okay.
I don't want anyone else to be involved in this because it's no one's fault but mine because I sure kept an eye on him. I don't know what he got into in the bathroom.
Ashley, don't blame yourself. You're a good mother. We know that. Okay? We both told you that. All right?
Like we said, we need to know what happened to Blue.
Okay? I know you loved him. I know it tore you up.
It still does.
Who was in the house with you, Ashley?
Taylor was.
Okay.
She was in the next room in her bedroom. And I feel like about it. She was there. She didn't say anything, but I know she heard me screaming, trying to get it home to be okay.
Who else was there? Was Nathan with you, Ashley?
He's with his kids.
Do what?
He was with his kids.
Where?
He was with them in their bedroom. And I was trying to help Blue. And I didn't want him to see him like that because I didn't know what was going on. And I was really hoping and praying that he would pull through. And I just don't know what happened.
Did you call for Nathan to help? Or call 911? Or go to a neighbor's house to get some help? Or
I didn't know what to do. I think I was so hurt by what was going on because I didn't know what was happening. But I think I didn't accept it. I was so hurt. Oh, there's my baby.
yeah.
Because I lost my first son. His dad took custody of him because of the person that I was married to being an alcoholic, and that just hurt me worse. And it sucks because I can't get worse. I don't want to replace my baby. It just hurts that I don't have him to love, to hold, to get really sick. I was so lost and confused. I don't have my grandma anymore. She died in 2019. I don't have anybody anymore to talk to, really. Talk to, figure things out.
When did you tell Nathan about Blue, Ashley?
Did he hear you screaming? And because we know you were upset.
Yes.
Okay, did he come out of the room?
He tried to help one of them. I tried to get him to maybe hope that CPR would work. And I didn't want his kids to see anything. I didn't want Taylor to see anything.
So you and Nathan tried to do CPR on Blue?
I tried to, and
Yeah.
he grabbed me, was trying to tell me the truth and to cough out, and I didn't know what to do. I was so scared, it hurt. Not really wanting to accept the fact that he's really gone.
Here's what you said, though. I don't know if you realize what you said. You said Blue came out of the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
To summarize, at this point, Ashley claims that after Nathan pulled her away from her son's lifeless body, he proceeded to tend to his own kids and Taylor. When the cops ask Ashley exactly when this terrible night happened, she states it was on the evening of September 9th at around 11 p.m. This means Blue Rolland had been under the floorboards of that house for months. Ashley continues to cry about how hard the situation is to talk about and how much she didn't want her father to find out this way. But now the detective wants to go back over some of the vague details in Ashley's recollection of events on the night Blue died.
And he looked funny. Okay? And then you said Nathan came out with you. Okay?
After I was trying.
After you were
screaming.
After you were screaming and trying to help Blue?
Correct? And then you said, this is what you just said. And I don't know if you realize what you just said. But you said Nathan told me the truth. That's what you said. You said Nathan told me the truth.
About that Blue was gone.
So he.
I didn't want to believe that he was gone.
How did? Okay, so he was telling you that he was dead already.
No.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to tell you. I don't want you to
You-
twist. I know you're not trying to. I know you're not trying to. Just don't want you twist my words around. I know you're not trying to. I'm not trying to be rude.
No, you're
Or
not
to you.
being rude at all.
It's been a really long day. I know it's been a long day for everybody.
So what do you mean by he was telling you the truth? That's what I'm trying to explain to me what you're talking about.
So, elaborate what I was trying to say. I was trying to say, tell Nathan. I was trying to tell Nathan to help me. I said, I can't get in to breathe. I need help.
Okay.
And this has been like minutes and minutes after trying, and he's keeping his kids from singing, hey, nudge. And I finally, after trying really hard, I can't get him to have a strong behavior and saying, I have hope, you know, try him, get him come back.
Okay, then he told you that.
And he looked at him. He looked at him. He dragged him by the shoulders, said, baby, let's go. I know you're trying really hard, but it's okay.
Okay.
But he was right. I looked at him. He made me so upset. I didn't want to believe that.
Okay. So then you guys realized that he was deceased. Okay. At that time. And then, did he tell you that he would take care of it, or did what happened afterwards? Because this was on September 9th. What happened afterwards? That night.
I don't even remember it. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
You're doing fine. Take your time. You're fine. You're doing fine.
I really don't know exactly what happened to him. I really don't know what caused him to fall like that. To just go limp so fast. It scared me so bad. I don't know.
I understand.
Ashley is extremely frustrating to listen to. She constantly dances the answers to questions around snibbles and silence before bringing the spotlight back to how hurt and upset the death of Blue made her. She's far more concerned with how hard this has been for her and just how much she's lost. But Ashley wasn't concerned enough at the time to call 911 and report that her son was unresponsive. She was also seemingly able to live in the house his body was buried beneath for months, while other children came and went, with no problem until the day this interview took place. There's nothing Ashley can say at this point that will justify her inaction. Even if it turns out Blue's death was in fact an accident, she's still arguably a terrible mother and horrible person. Her and Nathan both are. But spoiler alert, this was no accident. Far from it. The truth is shocking and disturbing beyond comprehension, but we'll get to that. Right now, the officer is trying to figure out the sequence of events that occurred between Blue's death and him ending up under the house. He brings religion into the equation by asking Ashley if she reads the Bible. She claims she's been reading the book every day and has been saved by the faith since she was a child. This is when the detective mentions a Bible verse that says, "The truth shall set you free." He's playing on her conscience, assuming she has one. He believes Ashley is covering for Nathan, so he continues to play the religion card while trying to convince her that she's a good mom. Now, he obviously doesn't believe that, but he's establishing rapport that might lead to answers. But that's a hard task with Ashley as she continues to skate around the questions she's asked. But eventually, this does lead to her divulging new information.
He took some stuff, okay?
Okay.
I don't know what it was. It was dark black stuff.
Okay.
But I remember smelling it. It smelled like this cleaner that I used in the bathroom.
Okay.
Because I used to put it in the toilet, and it didn't dawn on me that he was cleaning in the bathroom.
Okay.
And the one time that I decided to put it in the toilet, I forget about that. It was a long day. We had all the kids raised fun. And I just keep thinking about that smell. And I think maybe he got into it.
So my question is, okay, we understand what happened to him, how the death, okay? I understand that.
Earlier in the interview, Ashley made remarks about how she didn't know what Blu may have gotten into while in the bathroom that could have led to his demise. But at the time, she never mentioned him throwing up anything black. Now that she has, she also recalls smelling the dark substance and how it reminded her of the cleaner she used in the bathroom Blu was playing in before he died. If this is the truth, Blu's death was clearly an accident. But why is Ashley so adamant that she can't remember when she clearly can? After all, she just stated that she can't quit thinking about the cleaner she put in the toilet. The thing is, if she smelled the dark substance at the time and it reminded her of the cleaner, why on earth didn't she call 911 immediately and tell them she suspected her unresponsive 5-year-old son had ingested poisonous chemicals? These are the types of fallacies detectives observe in interrogations that lead them to poke holes in flawed reasoning that exposes the raw truth. It may take several punctures and repeat questions, but this is often what helps reveal key details. We can hear this in action with Ashley's interview. Right now, she's claiming to feel bad and at fault for what she wants the officer to believe was an accident. No one thinks that's the truth, but the cops want Ashley to think it's what they believe. It makes them appear to be on her side, which is causing her to open up. They think someone else was also involved in Blu's death and that Ashley is protecting that person. But they'll have to fish their questions through the dark gaps of time in Ashley's story to find answers that actually bite.
My question is, though, Ashley, look at me. My question is, how did he get to his final rest? Did he get there the same night?
It was technically, I don't know, because it was so late at night. So it was technically kind of the same night. It's just
Morning, early mornings.
something like that. Guess it's hard to pinpoint.
So, my question is, okay, my question is, how did he get to where he's at?
You understand, Rolland? This is really hard for me. I'm not trying to make it hard, I promise. Do you understand? I don't want anyone else
Ashley, listen.
to be
It don't-
at fault
listen.
before I see it.
Ashley, listen. It don't matter.
Because I asked them to help me.
Okay, that's fine. But that's all I want you to know is tell me how he helped you. Tell me how he helped you. What did he do to help you? Look at me. I'm going to go with you, ask him to help you, okay? Now you tell me, how did he help you?
It's funny. I'm not trying to be difficult. I promise. I haven't probably grieved over things that today's been really hard.
But the more, look at me, the more you tell us, the better you're going to grieve and the better it's going to come out. But the more you hold it deep inside you,
It's my baby.
I understand, the more you hold it deep inside you, the worse it's going to hurt.
Is Taylor okay?
I don't know. Okay. Listen, we got to talk about one right now, okay?
100%.
We're going to talk about Blu, okay? We'll talk about Taylor, but we're going to talk about Blu now. So, how did he get to where he was?
I asked him to dig a hole for me because I told him I didn't want him to be away from me because I still couldn't accept the fact that he was cold.
Okay.
And so he did.
So, hold on, look at me. Before he dug him a hole, what did he have to do? Did he do that, or did you cut the floor?
It was already falling through.
Okay.
And he cut some pieces to make it thick enough.
So, what did he use to cut the piece with?
don't remember.
Okay. Was it tools? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So, and then he's the one that dug the hole.
I asked him.
I understand that. Okay, I understand that. And then he dug the hole. Okay. And then what was he in?
Blanket.
What color blanket?
Um,
What color do you think it was? But he was in a blanket. You know for a fact he was in a blanket. Boo Boo is going to have an autopsy.
Getting answers out of Ashley Rolland is like trying to milk a male donkey that has feelings for you. For all your effort, you'll likely get something back, but it's probably not going to be beneficial. I'm going to summarize the information she gives again. I think I've already cut about 20 minutes of the silent gaps and sniffles Ashley uses to deflect and steer away the questions she's asked. The cop makes it clear to her that there's no way she wouldn't remember the details he's asking her to recall. This is her child they're talking about. She can likely remember his first steps, his first words, and a multitude of other major points in his life. His demise, which she witnessed, would be his most recent point, and his ending one at that. It wouldn't be forgotten so easily. According to Ashley, along with the blanket that Blue was wrapped in, he was buried in a pair of jeans and his flip-flops were thrown into the hole. He also had Ashley's tiger stone heart-shaped necklace. She claimed that was Blue's favorite necklace of hers and she wanted it to be with him. Finally, he was buried along with one of his toys. Ashley claims she was in the house at the time of Blue's burial, but not in the same room because Nathan didn't want her to see what was happening to her boo-boo. But this is where the detective will start to apply a little more pressure as he begins to bring up the fact that Blue's body is about to go through an autopsy, and autopsies have a habit of bringing a lot of darkness to light.
Please be gentle, my baby.
Yes, but listen to me. That autopsy is going to determine the cause and the manner of death.
Will you please tell me?
They're going to tell you.
Because I don't know myself.
Because you know why? You want me to be honest with you? I'm going to be completely honest with you, Ashley. Because I honestly don't believe that baby boy just came out of the bathroom and collapsed like that. I honestly don't believe that. And you honestly, I could tell when you are trying to cover something up. I know. I'm a daddy. I'm a daddy. Okay? I'm a parent. That baby boy didn't come out of that bathroom, you know that, and collapse. It didn't happen that way. Listen, Ashley, it did not happen that way. You know that. And you know why? You want me to tell you another reason why?
Can I tell you? Please.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be real. I'm not trying
You're not going to be
interrupt you. I was raised to be polite, not to interrupt people. He was acting weird all day. That day we were picking the kids up from school. I didn't know why he was acting so weird. I've been having issues with his sister before that. It scared me really bad. And I still loved her. I still wanted to take care of her. I was trying my best to keep them separated.
Okay.
Sorry, it hurts to talk about because it...
No, you need to talk about it because it will help you feel better. But the only way you're going to feel better if you tell us the truth.
That's what I'm trying to do, sir.
Okay. So what happened on September 9th night?
Summarizing again, Ashley continues to blame herself for Blue's death, but only by taking responsibility for putting the cleaner she claims the child might have ingested into the toilet. But the detective refuses to let her fall back on that excuse and instead decides to change the question slightly. It's crucial that he keeps Ashley from leaning into the denial she's so set on using as a crutch. She's comfortable there because in her fantasy, the only bad guy is her. And only at the hands of a terrible mistake. But what happened to Blue, and Taylor for that matter, was no accident. A new question with roots in the same grass just might get authorities closer to answers. And it began with a Freudian slip from the mouth of the lead detective. But was it actually a slip or a tactic? You be the judge.
He was acting weird that day too. And I don't know what was going on. It was all happening around the same time that his sister was hitting him in his seat. And that day he was acting really funny. Like he wasn't his normal self. He was not wanting to talk. He wasn't being very responsive. That makes sense. He felt looked like he's really out of it. I said, what? No, yeah.
So you think his sister did something to him?
I don't know.
Ashley, you want me to? I'm gonna be frank with you now, okay? I'm gonna be completely frank with you. First story was, hold on, look at me. There's no time. Don't look. Put your head down. Now we're gonna talk. First story was, we've been in here probably for at least an hour, okay? First story was, he probably went in the bathroom, drank some cleaner, came out, looked at you. Hold on, let me finish. Let me talk now. He came out, he stumbled, he hit the ground. We gave him CPR. Second story now, after I've told you about autopsy, okay? Because I told you it's going to show the cause of death and the manner of death. Now our second story is, okay, understand this now. This is 2 stories with an hour. 2 stories is maybe the sister has been hitting him sometime. He has bruising on his stuff and everything. And the grandma has been telling her to hit the boy. And now, the day of September 9th, he was acting really weird, coming back and everything. And possibly the sister may have caused trauma. You want me to tell you why? And I'm going to be frank with you now, okay? Do you want me to tell you why you have changed your story? It's because something happened to Blue. And we're going to know what happened. His sister did not do that. His sister did not. I know that. Okay? You know what happened to Blue. I know what happened to Blue. He knows what happened to Blue. And I'm just going to tell you, as a mom, it don't make a damn about that man. Don't make a damn about him. Because you know why? He didn't care. You understand that? He's put you through this. And I've tried. And it's really making me angry now because the fact that you're a good person. You're sitting here because you are scared to death. Because you know the truth. I know the truth. When that cause of death comes out, and the manner of death, we're going to know. And here's the other thing. The bad part about this is, I believe with all my heart, look at me. I've been doing this for 24 years. I've interviewed more people in these chairs than you can imagine. I believe in all my heart, he has told you to tell these stories.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make you angry.
You're not making me angry. I'll clarify that. You're not making me mad. You're kind of hurting me because of the fact that I believe in my heart you're 100% a good mama. But I know in my heart you know exactly what happened to Blue. I know exactly what happened to Blue. He knows exactly what happened to Blue. And I'm going to prove what happened to Blue. And the only way I could do that, Ashley, is you tell me what happened to Blue. Because here's the deal. If you don't tell me, it looks like that you are a bad mama. And you don't want everyone to think that you're a bad mama because you did not do this to Blue. I have given you every opportunity to tell me what happened. Because I've already know. I already know things more than you could think of. So I'm going to ask you, here's the deal, okay? Look at me. This is the last time. This is absolutely the last time. I want you to be the mother that you are deep in your heart. And I want you to tell me the truth because it's only fair to Taylor. And Boo Boo. That's it.
My baby.
That's right, it's your baby.
And I miss Taylor.
Okay. So here we go. Look at me. Look at me. We're starting from right here fresh. And I want the God honest truth because I know the God honest truth. Now I'm going to ask you one question, okay? And you can look at me and just say yes or no. Okay? Did you cause the death of Blue? Were you there when Blue died, yes or no?
Yes.
You were.
Yes, sir.
It's minutes before Ashley finally gets around to her third story about what happened to Blue Rolland the day he died. After more long pauses and attempts to harvest pity as a grieving mother, Ashley finally says that in her heart she thinks God is telling her to tell the truth. Ashley oddly claims to be a Christian, yet her Facebook page says she's also a spiritual healer and pagan who does tarot card readings and more on TikTok. Now, I'm no religious expert, but one might classify that as not very Jesus of her. To summarize past all the fluff, Ashley claimed that September 9th had been a really long day and that at the end of it, Nathan was sitting on a couch playing video games back at the house while Blue was standing nearby. At some point, Ashley claims it looked like the 5-year-old had something in his mouth. For the record, she never stated that Blue was choking, and that doesn't seem to be what she was inferring. Regardless, she claims Nathan grabbed the child and tried to take out whatever was in his mouth. This is when she claims that Blue bit down hard on Nathan's fingers and refused to let go. She also said that Nathan didn't hit the child, but he did rush Blue into the bathroom in an attempt to get him to let go. Then she said Nathan splashed water on Blue's face that came from the toilet. Apparently, this was the only water in the house at the time. They didn't have running water because of money issues, so it's a good thing Nathan had an Xbox so he could take his mind off of that. Anyway, according to Ashley, after Nathan splashed Blue in the face with the toilet water multiple times, the child eventually let go. She claims the rest of the story played out exactly like she previously claimed, but the officer isn't buying that.
Was Nathan there? Blue died.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you in the room when Blue died?
Yes, sir.
Where were you at?
Just holding him.
Huh?
I was right next to him.
Next to who? Okay.
He died in the bedroom.
He died in the bedroom.
He was in the hallway. He was acting really weird.
I'm going to ask you one time, Ashley. I'm going to ask you one time. Hold on. No, listen. I'm done. I'm done. I'm giving you every opportunity. I'm going to ask you one question. You better be honest with me right here, because this is how I'm going to know if you're a good mother or not. I'm going to know right now if you're the mother that you tell me you are. Okay? This is how I'm going to know. Did Nathan cause the death? Yes or no?
No.
Who caused the death? The kid does not get in no chemical, because your story first is a bunch of bull. The second one about his sister hitting him is a bunch of bull. You know, and I want you to be the mother you're telling me you are, because if you're not going to be the mother you're telling me you are, I guarantee you when that cause of death comes back and that manner of death comes back, it's going to show what happened to that baby boy. And then I'm going to know what kind of mother you are. I've been real nice. I've been real good. And I believe you're a good mother. But I'm kind of starting to feel like that you are trying to protect somebody or something. Because your stories have changed 2 times. Look at me. If my kid died, if my son died or my daughter died, I would be able to come to this man and tell him exactly what happened to my kid. So you know exactly what happened to that boy that day. There's no question about him acting funny. There's no question about him. Grandma always telling him to beat him up. That is crap. You know that, and I know that. Okay?
Can I just say what happened?
Yes, please. Tell me what happened.
I'm not trying to make you angry. I just want to tell you what happened.
Tell me what happened now. The truth. Listen, the truth. No bullshit story.
That's when the rest of it happened that I told you
What rest?
first time.
It's just no use with Ashley. There's clearly more to her ever-changing story, but she continues to blame herself and this cleaner she put in the toilet. She also continues to claim that Nathan never hurt her or the kids. But in about a minute, the other cop in the room is going to ask a specific question, and you're going to hear Ashley answer very, very quietly, confirming what they thought all along.
And then he came out and collapsed.
He fell up.
Listen to me. You are about right, and I believe the truth about maybe he stuck his fingers in his mouth. Okay? But I don't believe you're telling me the whole thing right. Hold on, stop. Let me finish.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe that because of the fact, if I'm splashing water just in the kid's face, it's not going to kill a kid.
I understand that.
That's not killing your son. I believe that he was probably choking on something. He did put him in his mouth, probably. But I believe something happened after that. There was no reason for you to say Nathan never hit him. You know why you said it? Because Nathan hit him. Point blank. And you know that. And you know what's so bad? You know what's so bad, Ashley? Look at me. You sit there and watch him hit your son. And that's why it hurts so bad. And you know what's so bad? Is that you're scared to death of him. Okay? I know what happened to him. Okay? Your son did not die from water in his face or the chemical. Your son died, and I'm going to look at me and I'm going to be blunt with you. It's because of Nathan. Nathan.
Blue would be here.
And you would be able to take care of him if it wasn't for Nathan. And my question is this. Why would you protect that vulture?
Take it, buddy.
Yes, you are.
I just don't want him to lose his kids because he didn't do anything but try to help me.
No, that's bullshit. And I'm going to call you out on it, Ashley. Look at me. Stop. Be the mama that we think you are. Tell me the damn truth. You know and I know, because you said the truth, but you didn't want to say it because you and I know, because I never asked you about him putting his hands on him or nothing. You're the one that said, oh, Nathan never hit him, though. You know why? Because Nathan hit him.
Sir,
Ashley,
he did not hit him.
listen to me very carefully.
I tell you.
Hold on, no, stop. Now I'm done. I'm done.
Please,
Listen, no, listen. We're at the point now.
please.
No, listen. That cause of death,
I wasn't in the room.
thank you.
I was in the living room and the door was open and he was in the bathroom, so I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that when he came out, he was wet.
You know what killed your son? And you know what killed your son. It would be so much better on you as a mom if you just say what killed your son.
Just want him to be okay.
Hey.
I miss my baby.
The release that you're going to feel in about 10 seconds when you tell me exactly what happened is going to be an incredible feeling. I know. So tell me right now.
What happened to Blue? How did Nathan kill Blue?
Ashley,
All I remember.
how'd he do it? None of this. All I remember, none of that. Just say, did he punch him?
No, sir.
Did he drown him? In the toilet? I know he did.
It hurts so bad.
Listen to me, Ashley.
It's my fault.
Did you see him? Did you see Nathan put
Blue's head in the toilet?
No, sir.
You didn't?
No, sir. I was in the other room. I was in the living room. That's the only thing I know. I didn't hear anything. All I heard was sound like water. I think it just went too far. I was trying to tell him.
You didn't do it, Ashley.
he
It's not
came
your
back
fault.
into the living room. And he wasn't standing upright. He was not wanting to stand on his own. I said, Nathan, something's wrong. Hands over, and I'm trying to give him CPR. All this black stuff came out. And I kept on and on, trying to make sure that he had a pulse so I could get an ambulance or take him to a hospital. And nothing was working. And that's when Nathan pulled me to the side and told me that he was gone.
How do you keep on and on and on trying to make sure someone has a pulse? Ashley already insinuated that Blue didn't have one. Why would she be trying to restore his pulse before calling an ambulance or taking Blue to the hospital? She said herself that nothing was working to revive the little boy, her 5-year-old son. Ashley knew what to do, but did nothing. These are the little holes the detectives are picking at in this interrogation. But the next information you're about to find out is going to make Ashley's inaction even more mind-boggling.
Did he tell you what he did to him in the bathroom?
No, sir.
How'd you know that Nathan drowned him?
I took nursing before I had my first kid. I went to school for almost 2 years. I was almost into the nursing program.
So what led you to believe that Nathan drowned Blue?
When someone throws up stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I could just hear it, and just the way his body swelled up tells me that his lungs was filled up. I just feel like it was a terrible, terrible accident. It shouldn't happen like that. It shouldn't have.
It wasn't an accident, Ashley.
I know he got
Nathan killed your son.
he got
Okay.
mad.
Yeah.
And he never got like that before. It just
So let me ask you a
Very
question,
careful
Ashley.
way.
Your son bit his fingers,
Yes, sir.
and then he took him to the bathroom
Just try to let go.
to get him to let go.
He wouldn't let go of his fingers. He was able to open his mouth enough to where he can get his fingers out.
Okay.
After Nathan got his fingers out of his mouth, what happened, Ashley?
For some reason, he was acting like he was sleepy or something. And I made the remark, why don't you just try to put some water, because we had some gallons of water. Okay? I thought he was gonna splash a little water,
But then what did Nathan do?
to his head and toilet his head. And he didn't know that I had put the...
Hey,
I'm not trying to, I promise. I promise.
Okay.
Promise.
So Nathan put Blue's head in the toilet that was full of water. For how long?
It wasn't very long. It didn't seem like it was very long. It was like quick, and
Why did he put him in the toilet though?
I don't know.
Because you said his hands were already out of his.
Yes, sir.
So he took his hands out. So he took him in there to punish him.
That's exactly what he did. He was mad.
And here's the other thing. That's not the first time he's probably punished him like that. No, it's not. Here's the deal. Okay, your daughter is in the hospital with major burns. Okay?
I didn't know it was burns.
It's burns. You want me to tell you why? It's because Nathan is violent. Nathan is mean. And I'm just being frank now. I'm done. I've been in here for 2 hours. You guys have a wire, or maybe Nathan does, where it holds the girl's door closed where she can't get out.
No, sir.
Yes, it does. We saw it.
That is put there to keep Fancy from going in Lala's room and tearing up her room while she's gone.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you this, though. You want to talk about Nathan. Ashley, I'm at the point where I'm tired of you trying to protect this guy, because here's the deal. You're the damn mother now, okay?
Sir.
You lost a son already
Yes, sir.
because of Nathan. You have a daughter in the Lebanon hospital right now with major burns. Children don't just get burns on their body. Does not happen. There is a problem. One child's deceased. One child's in the hospital, Lebanon hospital, in bad shape. Do you not see that?
Yes, sir.
You know why? It's because you've seen that guy do some mean things. But you know what? You have no reason to be scared of him now. This is the way that you are free. He drowned for a punishment. That's not a punishment. You know what that is? That's a torture. Your baby, 5 years old, drowned. How old is Taylor?
6.
Your baby, 6 years old, is over there in pain because of degree burns. They had to take her from Forest City Hospital and transport her to Lebanon. That's how bad she is. Lebanon is a burn place. A baby at 6 years old does not burn herself like that. You know what's the bad part? You know what happened to Taylor too. And you're steadily protecting this guy. And that's why it's breaking my heart for you, because you are protecting this guy that is killing or has already killed one of your kids.
I'm not trying to protect anybody.
But you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. I really don't want to.
Ashley, you have said 3 stories and we finally got this truth after 3. Your baby girl is over there in the hospital. I guarantee if I ask you what happened to your baby girl, you're going to come up with another story, and I'll be here for another 2 damn hours.
Yes, sir.
You know exactly how he burnt her. And why he burnt her. For the punishment. I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't a man. He is not a man. He is not a husband. He is not a boyfriend. And he's not a father. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be my dangest to make sure he doesn't get out of these cells ever again. To not ever to hurt another child, another woman, or anybody. Because he has anger issues. A grown man should not take a 5-year-old boy, and put him in a toilet.
Will his kids be okay?
You want him to have his children after he has killed your son and has burnt your daughter? Ashley, what happened to your daughter? And I don't want no BS story. I just want the truth right now. Why is she burnt up so bad? When did she get burned up, first of all?
Week ago.
A week ago. How did he burn her? What did she do to get the punishment of getting burnt?
I didn't know she was burned until you told me, sir.
Ashley, you have seen that man do bad things to your kids.
I'm trying to tell you, sir.
Ashley, no, you're not.
Pause. 10 seconds ago, Ashley said Taylor received her injuries a week ago. Now she claims not to have even known about them. So either her name is Dory and she lives in the ocean, or the cops are using the Jedi mind trick on her, which is totally unfair, and they should be reprimanded. That's not very Jedi of them. And everyone knows evoking the dark arts while interviewing a suspect is bad juju. Ashley, get your story straight.
I'm done. You're not.
You know how he stays in prison the rest of his life? You know what does that?
Me.
Where he can't ever hurt anybody else again?
Me. Tell me.
Not just you, the truth. That's how he stays there the rest of his life, where he can't ever hurt you.
He can't ever hurt Taylor again.
He won't ever have the opportunity to hurt or kill one of his own kids again that you just said you have grown to love. I'm sure like a mother, right?
Yes, sir.
I want you to tell me how he burnt your daughter. Right now.
Bath.
Huh? Bath. He drew hot water bath? Huh?
Yes, sir.
And threw her in there for punishment? Do not throw this on your daughter.
Hey, look, I'll make it easy for you. I know she's been having behavioral issues. Okay, I know that.
We know that.
We know all sorts of stuff. She's been through a lot. Okay, all right. So, okay, done. You don't even have to say that. He drew a hot bath and put her in it to punish her.
Yes.
That is not so hot where second degree burns. When you were there, was she screaming? Was she screaming? She was, wasn't she?
Stopped it.
Huh?
Stopped it.
I know you did.
You're a good mama. You can stop it forever right now.
Ashley's first interview concluded shortly after this. She maintained that burying Blu under the house was all Nathan's idea, but did state that she wanted her baby to be close to her. She doubled down on the narrative that Blu unsteadily walked himself out of the bathroom after Nathan took him in there before collapsing, which makes zero sense because she previously stated his body was swollen up and seemed to be full of water. She also claimed Nathan never threatened her if she were to report Blu's death. Instead, she claims that she cares about everyone else so much and that no one ever cares about her. But she believed Nathan did. And that was obviously more important than the fact that he murdered her 5-year-old son by drowning him in a dirty toilet.
All right, Nathan. You've seen cops before? On TV?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm half asleep still.
I understand, man. I'm with you. So you heard of Miranda rights before? And formality before?
Earlier.
Okay, we're going to do it again. This is just a formal deal, okay? That's your name right there at the top. We're at the Lee County Sheriff's Office, 7:20 in the morning on December 17th, 2022, okay? You reading right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. All right, I'm going to start right here and just go down right there and just write your response and speak it verbally as well, okay? Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. Do you understand that you have the right to remain silent?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you understand that if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you for any questioning, if you wish, at no cost to you?
Yes, sir, I do understand that, but when does that happen? When is that offered? Because I cannot afford one. I definitely would need a lawyer.
During whatever time, during the proceedings, if there's proceedings or whatever, and when the court say, okay, now is the time for you to have representation, or when you request one, okay? Do you understand that if you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering at any time? You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to an attorney.
Yes, sir, I do.
I read the statement of my rights to understand my rights. I am willing to make a statement and answer questions. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no coercion and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. Let's sign right there if you're willing to talk with us.
I think I'm on right and wait on a lawyer. I've never been in any trouble. I don't know what to do, and I need somebody smarter to tell me what to do.
Okay. So you want to wait till you have an attorney present before you answer any questions?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
Unfortunately for us, that's all Nathan had to say for himself. He's actually never spoken out publicly about his involvement in the murder of Blu Rolland or the harm that was caused to Taylor Rolland. But don't worry, because 10 days later, on December 27th, 3 other people did. The first one was Ashley's father, Timothy Childers. During his second interview, he was read his Miranda rights. As we all know, this means you're being treated as a suspect in the crime you're being questioned about. It turns out that the day Timothy showed up to Ashley's house looking for Blu, he and his crew weren't the only ones. In fact, Ashley's ex-boyfriend and his partner also turned up at the residence looking for answers. The ex-boyfriend wasn't Dustin Rolland, but rather the father of Ashley's first son that she no longer had anything to do with. Timothy Childers and this guy weren't fans of each other, to say the least, and he claims this ex showed up just to cause problems. Apparently the guy even went as far as to claim Timothy had helped cover up the murder of Blu. But the fact is, Timothy Childers hadn't ever been inside that house. He'd been fighting for visitation rights to see Taylor and Blu, and hadn't been allowed to see them since around June. Then sometime in September, Ashley went dark and stopped responding completely. Timothy had no part in or knowledge of what happened to Blu and Taylor. Ashley and Nathan made sure of that. The second person interviewed on December 27th was Blu and Taylor's paternal grandmother, Karen Rolland. For the record, Karen also seemed to clear Timothy Childers of any involvement, claiming he was actually trying to help her get to see her grandchildren. Taylor also showed no fear of Timothy once they were reunited, so in a lot of ways, Timothy and Karen were in the same boat. But Karen seemed to tread the deeper water for a while. When her son Dustin and Ashley got divorced in 2021, she claims it was written in the papers that Karen would get visitation of the grandkids. The problem is, eventually, Ashley did everything she could to avoid it when it came to both sets of grandparents. This is why Karen and Timothy had to work together, but that was hard for a while because it wasn't even clear where Ashley lived. Whenever Karen actually did get to see the kids, she had major concerns. And to her merit, she raised those concerns in about every way she could. She claimed that any time in the past when she picked Taylor up, the girl smelled like marijuana. She also couldn't understand why the child had head lice for months at a time either. Eventually, Karen decided to contact Taylor's former school in Wynne, Arkansas, and ask them to look into the matter. But the school couldn't relay information back to Karen because I guess Karen wasn't Taylor's legal guardian. They did take her statement, however, and agreed to use it in their investigation, but unfortunately Taylor was taken out of school at that time. Karen had actually called DHS to report bruising on Taylor's bottom while Ashley was with a guy named Kevin Walters too. This was one of Ashley's boyfriends between Dustin and Nathan, so concerns of abuse and neglect didn't just start when Nathan showed up. At one point, Ashley and the kids moved to Dexter, Missouri for about 3 months before things went sour in that relationship. Ashley called someone to pick her up and bring her back to Arkansas. That someone was Nathan Bridges. Even though Karen Rolland made multiple reports concerning the welfare of her grandkids, nothing substantial was ever done about them. She was allowed to FaceTime them once in July and is on record pleading with Ashley via text messages for visitation. But Ashley refused. Desperate and worried, Karen decided to reach out to Timothy Childers and ask him to try and help. He did. And that's when Ashley cut him off too. So Karen got a lawyer and started court proceedings for visitation. It was at that time that she claimed she began having nightmares that Taylor was calling out for her. On the Thursday just before Blu's body was found, Ashley failed to show up for court regarding Karen's visitation rights. She claimed her truck wouldn't start and she couldn't make it. Thankfully, the judge made the call to go ahead and legally award Karen the visitation rights without Ashley's presence. This was effective immediately. Not only was she permitted to drive straight to Ashley's house and pick up the children, but she was allowed to have the assistance of the police while doing so. This was a huge win for Karen Rolland, and she wasted no time executing the authority of it. I've just summarized about 2 hours of interview audio for you, but now I'm going to let part of Karen Rolland's interview play out so you can hear exactly what she experienced upon arrival at Ashley and Nathan's house on the day Blue's body was discovered. These are the events that led up to Timothy Childers' arrival at the residence.
Okay, so I knocked on the door. Nathan opened the door, and when he opened the door, I told him I had the court orders to take both of the children. And he says, okay, let me get Ashley. So Ashley came to the door, and she asked me, she says, okay, well, Blue's not here. Blue's staying with a family member or a friend. And so she says, well, do you want me to put Taylor's shoes on? I said, well, yeah. So she went inside. Me and the officer were standing outside waiting. We could hear her crying, like hurting, like she was being hurt. But she had the sores on her feet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Her socks were wet with urine. All right. Her pants were soaked in urine. So when I picked her up, what made me notice was the smell of her, feeling the wetness on my arm. But when she came to the door, she had trouble walking. It was like her back was bowed over from deficiency. I didn't even think her back was even going to straighten out. She was so frail. She weighed 36 pounds. She went from 86 pounds from the last I seen her to 36 pounds. Okay. When I touched her, she was ow, like that. And she couldn't walk. She said she couldn't walk to the car. So I picked her up. All right. So I first took off her hat, or looked at her to see who it was. And I said, this is Blue. She said, no, it's not Blue, it's Taylor. And she says she has a rash on her chest, and it's because we found out she was allergic to mustard. I said, mustard? She's always eating mustard at my house, bologna sandwiches with mustard. I said, no, it's not mustard. And I looked at her, and her hair was all jacked up and stuff. And I said, what the hell did you do to her? Like that, in anger. And I knew I couldn't wait on Taylor. She had to immediately go to the emergency room. So I told the officer, I said, I'm taking her to the emergency room right now. That's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And he says, you have all right to.
Yeah.
So I went straight to the emergency room, and Dr. Schaefer was there. She was called in specially. And then the officers arrived. And I told him, I said, please go do a welfare check on Blue. Something's, he might be in the same shape. And they was like, this is definitely abuse. This is definitely neglect. They took all the pictures and all this. And DHS never arrived there at the hospital. The officers apparently went out there, and then when they picked them up, all they did was question them and released them. All right, so then I got on the phone, and I talked to Michael, which is like my cousin, and he got 8 people together and went over to their house. And because the law didn't do anything, is what I believe.
So they were questioned, released, and then you called Michael and went back out there with some other people.
Right, he had a van. He went out there with Timmy, which is her dad. Mm-hmm. And they went out there, and some girl had shoved her up against the wall, and finally she admitted to what was going on. She just said at first it was an accident,
right.
and then they were asking her questions about accident, what happened, and Nathan had already run at this point. They kicked in the door because when they first arrived and seen them, they opened the door. But then after they opened the door, they immediately shut the door and bolted it shut and wouldn't allow them in.
Okay.
So then, after they didn't answer the door, they kicked in the door.
Okay. You were at the hospital at this point,
yes.
right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
yeah.
But so when you arrived to pick up, she was in clothes saturated with urine. Is that correct? Okay. Mm-hmm. And obviously in pain.
The doctor said that she had never smelt a child or individual reek of that smell before. It was horrific.
Okay.
She has multiple fractures. We still have to do another CAT scan. She had broken ribs.
Sure.
the doctor said that if it had been any time longer or a day longer, she wouldn't be here either.
So I'm telling you, you done the right thing.
Yeah, you did right.
We'll take care of the rest of it.
But I felt like I should have been there sooner for him.
Well, that's going to be just a hard time. I mean, everybody's going to feel that.
I mean, I'm angry at the law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm angry that grandparents don't have a rights in Arkansas. It shouldn't be like that. Or I would have been able to get to her.
Yes, ma'am.
And plus, I'm angry at my son. Because I don't think he did the right things to also.
You just take care of Taylor for us, okay?
I feel so guilty.
Karen also brought up the gun incident involving her son Dustin Rolland at the park, the one Ashley talked about in her first interview. According to her, Dustin, Blu, Taylor, Ashley, and Nathan were all there. After taking Taylor to the bathroom, she came out to witness Dustin running to his truck to grab a pistol before telling Nathan, "I have one too." Karen claims her son never aimed his gun at Nathan, but when she asked him what was going on, Dustin told her he was protecting himself. He said Nathan had just put a gun to his head and threatened to kill him. And you know what? I'm not giving Dustin a Father of the Year award, but I don't doubt what he said is true. Karen made no excuse for her son not stepping up and fighting for the right to see his children properly. I respect the anger she expressed at him for that too. Loving someone means holding them accountable. After all, we expect a certain amount of effort out of our loved ones, and when they fail to deliver, they should be faced with the results of their failures, not coddling, while certainly not the cause. The consequences in this situation are the murder of a 5-year-old boy and the horrible maltreatment of a 6-year-old girl. Thank you, Karen Rolland, for not giving up in a state that doesn't offer automatic grandparent visitation rights by law. The last interview we're going to hear is Ashley Rolland's second one. It also happened on December 27th of 2022. It was the final interview in order by time. Just like the other interviews, I have edited this one down for time, but I'll only be interjecting to summarize one time as Ashley Rolland finally reveals the truth.
All right, Ashley, tell me the whole truth about what happened to Blu.
Me and Nathan went to go pick up his kids from school. Blu was in the back seat, and as Nathan went to go up to the school to get his kids, I was telling Blu that I loved him and that everything would be okay. As soon as Nathan had got back into the truck, he was hollering at Blu, and he was banging his head against the steering wheel.
Who was Nathan? Was
Nathan was there, yes sir.
Nathan was banging his own head against the steering wheel?
Banging Blu's head against the steering wheel and on the dash.
Okay.
I was hollering for him to stop, and he didn't want him to do that. He stopped. Blu's head started to swell a little bit on the front. Nathan had said some really mean and rude things. I told him he needed to stop, and it's not right to.
What did he say to him, Ashley?
He showed Blu a mirror, the rearview mirror, and he told him that he was ugly, and told him that he didn't look good. And he said that he didn't like him. Hollered at Nathan that he needed to stop, and that's not right to talk to a kid that way, especially my kid. He wouldn't do that to his own kids. We argued for a little bit on the way home, and he hollered at me. Nathan hollered at me, so I stopped talking. I went silent. I went home. His kids put up their backpacks. My two, Blu and Taylor, went into her bedroom. Nathan's kids put up their backpacks. Lila was in her bedroom. Roland came into the living room. Me and Rolland were playing the, I believe it was the Nintendo 64 gaming system. Nathan had Blue come over to the couch to stand there. And Blue was acting sleepy.
I said maybe he just needs a little splash of water on his face. Maybe he'll be okay. So Nathan got up on the couch. I guess, I don't know, for some reason he stuck
his finger in Blue's mouth.
He thought that there was something in his mouth, but I didn't see anything.
Then Blue went to immediately bite on Nathan's finger.
Nathan pried his finger out of his mouth.
Nathan was hollering at Blue
for him biting his finger. I hollered at Nathan and said it's not his fault. Said he's probably just tired. He doesn't want to be messed with. I said he's probably hurt. He's tired.
Nathan took Blue to the bathroom.
I couldn't see anything because the way that the couch was, I couldn't see into the hallway or in the bathroom. The door to the bathroom looked like it was halfway shut. I couldn't quite see in there. I heard splashing of water. I thought that Nathan had just took one of the jugs of water and maybe had just splashed water on his face. I didn't hear any screaming. I found it so odd that I didn't hear anything other than water. I said something's not right. I felt like something wasn't right. I hollered to Nathan towards the bathroom on the couch and asked him what's going on. He hollered back at me and said, "Nothing's wrong. Everything's okay."
He pulled Blue
from the bathroom and tried to make him walk to the living room. Head is wet. I said, "What did you do?" Nathan made a remark to me and Roland, which is his son,
that he had dumped Blue's head into the toilet.
I said to Nathan, "Why did you do that?" He just laughed at me and acted like it was a joke.
I looked at Blue's face.
He did not look right at all. He looked off. I could just tell something was off. Nathan brought him into the living room, picked him up towards the ceiling. I said, "Nathan, you've got to stop. Something's not right. Put him down." He set
Blue
on the floor. Would not get up. Nathan kept laughing as if it was a joke. I said, "Something's not right." I said, "Not act like this." I told Nathan that I wanted to call 911, that something was wrong. And he kept telling me that I couldn't. He said that if I called 911, he was going to end up in jail, and he was going to make sure that I was in jail too. He took my phone from me. He told Roland to go in the room with his sister because he did not want to see. And then went into his sister's room with her.
Nathan took Blue into the hallway.
I told Nathan that he needed to do CPR on him because he looked like he was faint, like he barely had a pulse. I stood in the doorway of where his kids were so they wouldn't see anything. Nathan tried to do CPR on him. Some stuff had come out. I believe it was from his lungs. He was barely breathing. There was so much stuff on the carpet and everything. Nathan got up and went to the kitchen. He said he was going to grab some rags to try to clean up the mess. When he left,
I was watching Blue,
holding his hand, making sure he was okay. He stopped breathing. I hollered for Nathan. I said, "Nathan," he stopped breathing again. I was trying to give him mouth to mouth. All the taste and smell was the stuff that had come out previous.
So he took Blue
again and put him in our bedroom on our floor. And he was doing chest compressions. I was trying to rub on his feet and his leg stuff to try to get a little circulation. I thought that would help. Nathan pulled me aside, and he kept telling me, he said, "God." I said, "No, he's not." I said, "We got to keep trying." He kept telling me that he was gone, that he was gone. But I didn't want to believe it. And I told him, because he wrapped him, or I thought he had, he told me he wrapped him in a blanket. And I said, "I can't do this." I said, I can't live with the fact that he's gone like this. I have to turn myself in because I have to make sure that he's... I told him it wasn't right. That he was gone and he wasn't behaving properly. I just wanted to turn myself in. He kept telling me, making me feel bad that he's got kids, saying that he would never get to see his kids again. And he kept telling me it was my fault because my kids, he felt like my kids did not listen to me. But I never had an issue with my kids. Always taken care of. He told me that he would never know what it would be like to lose a child, and that he was sorry that he had done that to me.
You believe him?
No, sir.
He told me about a week after Blue died that he was angry at Blue because me and Blue had this thing where we would smile at each other a certain way.
And Nathan had told me that he didn't like that. I said, "What's wrong with you? Why do you not like the fact that my son wanted to make me smile? Why didn't you not like the fact that my son wanted me to be happy? I love my daughter a lot. I felt like I had more of a really close connection with him because he was always pushed away from people growing up.
Who came up with the idea to bury him?
Nathan did. He just said that that's what his plan was. He said maybe if I let him bury him, that he could get away with it for a little while and then try to move off somewhere. And I told him it's not right. He kept saying he was going to bury him somewhere else, and I said, I want him close to me because he's my baby.
So you knew he was just going to bury him someplace?
Yes, sir.
And so did you just agree to at the house just so he could be close to you?
Yes, sir. I didn't want any animals or anything to get to him. I felt really strange being in a house itself where he was buried. Walking by him every day was torture to me.
I can imagine.
Knowing his kids are walking every day like that. And his sister asking me, I don't even know what to say. I don't have an answer. All I can do is hold her and cry with her.
Why didn't you tell anybody, Ashley?
I don't know. I was so scared. But I wanted to. I wanted to.
Scared?
I was scared that he was gonna make sure that I went down with him. He told me that. He told me he wanted that if I went to the police, that he was gonna make sure that I went down with him.
Ashley, did you have anything to do with killing Blue?
No, sir.
Who did it?
Nathan.
Anybody else help him?
No, sir.
Anybody else help bury him?
No, sir.
Did you help bury him?
No, sir.
Did your dad?
No, sir.
Nathan Bridges killed Blue?
Yes, sir.
By himself?
Yes, sir.
By drowning him in the toilet?
Yes, sir. So I'm tired of being around someone who wants to entrap me all the time. To feel like I have no say-so in anything. To feel like I'm doing something wrong all the time, but I'm not. I'm a small person, but I'm more smarter than that. I wish that I had more of a gut to stand up for myself and do what I'm supposed to do. I'm sick of people pushing me around just because I'm small.
According to Ashley, Nathan wrapped Blue up in a blanket and left him in their room for a day or two. It's unclear how long exactly, but then Nathan cut the hole in the floor himself and buried the child beneath the house. The day after the murder, Nathan gave Ashley back her phone, but she claims he kept a close eye on who she contacted, forbidding her to speak to her father, and even getting angry when she would try to communicate with friends. He went as far as blocking some people on her device without her knowledge. She said while out in public, Nathan would always be directly behind her and would get angry because she appeared depressed in front of others. He claimed her inability to hide her feelings would get them locked up. He also made claims that he didn't trust her or that she was cheating on him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what coercive control looks like at the hands of a narcissist. And if you ask me, Nathan is as malignant as they come. The day he murdered Blue, Nathan's own 7-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son were also in the house. These are Rebecca's kids. Now that the truth of what happened to Blue Rolland has been revealed, it's time to talk about the other children that suffered at the hands of Nathan, starting with Taylor Rolland. Be warned, the details you're about to hear will floor you.
Nathan Bridges tried to get me to pour hot water on her and I wouldn't. He had me come in the bathroom with the cup and hand me the cup, but I could not pour the water on her. I told him this was wrong. He got angry and left the bathroom. I turned off the hot water and put on regular warm water so Taylor could finish her bath. He tried to... He kept telling me that my daughter was against me and she shouldn't try anything that she could to try to get me to have her taken away from me. He told me to stay away from Taylor and not talk to her. He he wanted her to be on a certain schedule of eating. At first, he had a bowl and a cup and he gave it to her and he said, if you don't put this by the door, then you don't eat and you don't drink. I went behind his back and gave her food anyways and something to drink because I didn't feel like it was right that she was starving.
Nathan was starving.
Yes, sir.
How often would he let her eat? What was the schedule?
At first, it was the bowl and the cup by the door. She only did that maybe once or twice. And then, because I was still giving her food and water, he got angry at me, told me I needed to stay out of it and stay away from her. I told him it's not right to starve her. His mother had also told Nathan that he did not need to starve Taylor. Mm-hmm. His mom's a really good person. She wouldn't hurt anybody in the whole world.
When did Nathan pour the water on Taylor?
He did that about a week before I had got picked up and everything. She had peed the bed and was soaking wet. A lot of the time he would be up, Nathan would be up before me. He would get up, he would get mad because she peed the bed. He would have her go to the bathroom and he'd have her some running water. There was one day when I heard her screaming. I said, what's going on? Went to the bathroom. He's pouring hot water onto her from her head and then sometimes on her front and then on her back. He then tries to hand me the cup with the hot water and tells me that I need to pour hot water on her. I have the cup in my hand. I pour the water, but the water does not touch Taylor. He gets angry at me. Nathan does. Me and Nathan are arguing. He leaves the room. I turn the hot water off and give her a normal bath for her to finish. I help her with her clothes. I give her dry clothes. I put her wet clothes into the dryer. She goes into her room. Nathan turns off her light, her bedroom light. Nathan then goes into the kitchen and fixes Taylor a sandwich. I said, okay, thank you for fixing her a sandwich. I hear Taylor coughing. And I said to Nathan, what kind of sandwich did you fix? He said, I gave her a peanut butter sandwich with mustard on it. And was laughing. I told Nathan, why would you give her a sandwich with mustard on it? I go back to the bedroom to check on Taylor. She's not really talking, but trying to, cough or say something. And she kind of goes out and starts shaking. So I'm immediately like, okay, she's probably having a seizure right now. I take her out of her bedroom. I lay her on her side, wrap her up, and I'm holding her. Her face is immediately swelling up. And she's got this mark on her chest. And I asked Nathan, I said, what is that mark? It looks like it's a burn mark. And he said, oh, that's just hives. She's probably having an allergic reaction. I said, no, this looks like a burn. Because it's right here on her chest. Nathan kept trying to say that
Taylor
was dying. I said, no, she's not. She's still breathing. Nathan keeps coming into the hallway and tries to breathe into her mouth, but I keep telling him, why you keep doing that? You need to stop. She's breathing just fine. But he keeps coming in there, and I told him to stop. She's breathing. She does not need air if she's breathing. So Nathan says, okay, I'm out of it. He goes to sit on the couch in the living room.
I stay in the hallway with Taylor for the rest of the night.
To make sure she was okay, I kept a hold of her, and whenever she would start shaking again, I would just hold her and I would talk to her. I had some off-brand of Benadryl that I gave her a little bit of, and her swelling started going down. Her whole face was swollen, her neck was swollen, and her eyes were swollen shut. I took
Is that from the peanut butter?
It's either from the peanut butter or the mustard. She's never had an allergic reaction before. This is the first time that she's had one.
Right. Was that a burn on her chest?
Yes, sir.
What was that from?
Nathan pouring hot water.
Okay. How many times did he do that? Approximately.
4 or 5 at the most.
Was this all after Blue died?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever hurt Blue when Blue was alive?
Yes, sir.
Give me an example of some of the things he would do.
He had these boxing gloves that he said that he gave to his kids to... His daughter Lala had this anger issue, so he got his kids boxing gloves to try to release some of the anger that she had.
Okay.
I know it sounds weird. He had these boxing gloves, and he would put these boxing gloves on Taylor, and he would have a set on his own, and he would hit Taylor with the gloves, and he would tell her that she's got to stand up and fight. I would
Stand behind Taylor.
trying to keep her from hitting her head or something. I said, you can't do this. It's not right to be hitting a child. And then he tried to get his daughter
To hit Taylor.
with these boxing gloves, and Lala would not do it. She didn't feel right about it.
Where would he hit Taylor?
Here,
Where's here?
on her, around her chest area, her
Stomach.
stomach. Yes, sir.
Chest, stomach, ribs.
Yes, sir.
What about the face?
Yes, sir.
Nathan also tried to make Taylor stay up at night.
Just for punishment?
For punishment. Yes, sir.
He did the same thing while Blue was alive.
And I would, as soon as Nathan would fall asleep, I would take a blanket and lie the kids down for them to sleep, because I didn't.
How would he make them stay awake?
He would have them stand up in the living room where he could watch them. And sometimes he would make them hold a board over their head to make them stay awake.
How big a board?
Like this.
Approximate 1 foot, 2 foot long board over their head.
Well,
All that long.
at one point, he had this bigger board
that he would try to make Blue hold.
And I told him that it was too big. Yeah, he can't do that. It's not too heavy. I didn't.
Did you ever try to stop this, intervene in any way?
Yes, sir. Me and Nathan would argue over what he would do to the kids.
Okay. Did he ever listen to you?
No, sir.
Did he ever hit you?
Like, they weren't hard. It was mostly him putting his hands around my neck, or he would grab my arm.
Why didn't you ever tell anybody about any of this, Ashley?
I feel like I freeze when things happen. Since I was 18, I've always been with people that were abusive. And when things happen like that, in the past, have asked for help. And I just feel like I don't get the right help that I need. And I end up freezing. And I end up having like an anxiety attack. When things happen, people yell at me in certain ways. When people throw things, I freeze. I try to put my voice out there, but I feel like I'm not loud enough. I feel like I'm not strong enough to be against anyone. And I feel like if I ask for help, I'm not going to get the right help that I need. He made sure that I wasn't able to talk to my dad. My dad even came to the house at one point about a couple weeks before I came here and was trying to talk to me. And Nathan forced me to stay in the bedroom with his kids, Lala's bedroom. He would make me stay back there with them. And
so you were home when your dad came to the house and was beating on the door?
Yes, sir. I wanted to answer the door so I could talk to him, but Nathan would not let me. He said I had to stay in the bedroom with the kids and be quiet. He even he yelled at Lila for playing in her room. We were watching a movie in her room.
So he just wanted to make it look like nobody was home?
Yes,
basically.
sir. Yes, sir.
Did Nathan ever talk to your dad? Did he answer the door?
No, sir. He kept everything shut. My dad left a note on the door.
What'd the note say?
It just said that, Ashley, please talk to me. I want to see the kids.
Y'all have a dog crate?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the dog crate. And you know why I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
I believe that at one point when Nathan hid Blue's body, he put Blue in the dog crate.
He wouldn't tell me where he was, but I just had a feeling that's where he was at one point.
Do you ever put Taylor in the dog crate?
No, sir, not that I know of.
He never made her stay in the dog crate. I'm just getting information. I'm trying to clarify, okay? If you don't remember, you never saw him do it, then
I
that's
don't
fine.
remember, sir.
Okay.
I remember him trying to put her in the closet at one point for punishment.
Okay. Did you ever make her stand on the dog crate?
Yes, sir.
For how long?
An hour. Too long for her to... She's like me, she doesn't have very good balance. And when I tried to help her with school, he said he was afraid of what she might say if I put her in public school. I was trying to put her in Palestine at that time. So I put her in homeschool, and I would try to teach her in the kitchen how to write her name and do regular schoolwork, because I would have these workbooks that my dad had gave me last Christmas, and I would have her work in the workbooks, and everything would be fine. She gets on my nerves, but I'm the kind of person, I'm like, you get on my nerves, I'm not going to do anything to you. It's just,
I get it.
It get frustrating,
I get it.
But Nathan always asks me, like, how do you not get mad? How do you not get pissed off? I'm like, it's my kids. Like, even if it wasn't my kids, I still don't get mad like that. Because they're kids, they're growing up, they're still learning. And he would interfere in the kitchen while I'm trying to teach Taylor. And he'd get mad at her, and he'd, like, hit her hand. And at one point, he stabbed her with the pencil. I'm like, why are you doing this? I would holler at him, we would get in another argument, he would walk back into the living room, and I would try to
stop the bleeding on Taylor's hand when he stabbed her.
I'd give her a hug, tell her it's okay, we're gonna try this again another day. She wanted to learn. She wanted to do good. I just felt like he just made her really uneasy whenever he was around because she wouldn't say anything to me. But I could just feel it when he would walk in the room. She would be shut down, like how I would feel when someone's doing something to me whenever I know.
Did you ever hurt her
No.
intentionally because you were out of anger
No, sir.
or meanness?
No, sir.
Who cut her hair?
Nathan did.
I heard Taylor squirm around a little bit.
I asked Nathan, what's going on? Is she okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he would holler back at me and say, oh, she's fine. She just doesn't want to get her hair cut. He's done cutting her hair. He cleans up the mess, I guess, because I didn't see any hair on the floor of the hallway or the bathroom. He opens the door and he shows me her hair. I seen a cut right here on her forehead.
So he had cut her with the scissors while he was cutting her hair?
I'm assuming he did, sir.
She was bleeding?
A little bit, yes, sir.
Did you notice any other marks on her head or anything?
No, sir.
Did you hear her cry or anything?
Just
She
she just squirmed a little squeal.
Okay.
And he said that she wouldn't stay still to cut her hair. When I seen her hair and seen that she was bleeding a little bit right there, I immediately went to the bathroom and grabbed a wash rag to clean her face off. Nathan got mad at me and asked me what I was doing. I said I just wanted her clean. She shouldn't be bleeding.
Right.
Nathan's mom ever ask where Blue was at?
Yes, sir.
What'd you tell her?
I didn't tell her anything Nathan did.
When did he tell her?
Either a few days or a week after it had happened.
So Sheila knew that Nathan had killed Blue?
Yes, sir.
She knows right now.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what you're telling me?
Yes, sir. She's really hurt by everything.
She is?
Yes, sir. She cared about my kids a lot, and they loved her like she was another grandma to them. She got mad at Nathan a lot whenever he would lose his temper at her house, and she would tell him that he needed to
Why
stop.
didn't Sheila come say anything?
I don't know.
Did you ever ask her? Did you and Sheila ever talk about it?
No, sir.
How did you know that she knew?
Nathan told me that he told his mom, and she had came to our house because he had asked her to, because he said that he needed a hug from his mom. She sat down at the kitchen table and he explained more in detail about what happened. He tried to tell Sheila that it was an accident.
Does anybody else know?
No, sir.
Did Nathan drink?
When we had alcohol in the house, he would drink it. I wasn't really much of a drinker.
Did he smoke marijuana?
Yes,
Or
sir.
Meth?
Yes, sir.
What drugs did he do?
Marijuana and methamphetamine.
Okay.
Did you ever see him abuse his children like he abused yours?
Yes, sir. At one point, he was changing the tires on our truck. His son Rolland was helping him, and he kept hollering at his son because his son was not doing, taking the lug nuts off of the truck right. We were at his mother's house when this happened. I was sitting away far from where their truck was, where the driver was. I was where there's a picnic table, and he kept hollering at Rolland about the tires, and he took a wrench when he got really mad and hit Rolland in the head with the wrench and made Rolland cry. When he went to work on the house in Forest City, he took me and all the kids with him to the house to work whenever he had his kids. He got his kids half the days during the week. He would holler at all of the kids if they didn't do right. He would throw things at them and make them feel really bad and small, and he would cry.
Ashley's final interview concluded shortly after this. She went on to describe how Nathan had hit Blu in the head with a boa level, leaving him bleeding just a day or two before he was killed. This was yet another incident Nathan claimed was an accident that left the child in a state that saw Ashley needing to clean him up with towels. She also admitted that the reason Nathan was banging Blu's head against the dash and steering wheel of her truck on the day he was murdered was because he had wet himself. Ashley described just how deeply terrified of him his own kids were that day too. She also explained how Nathan forced Blu to wear one of Taylor's Easter dresses the day he was killed. Then after he murdered that poor, innocent child, he knelt down to Blu's surviving sister and told her he loved her and that he was going to make sure no one hurt her. He did this before nearly abusing her to death over the span of months. After Blu was buried under that house, Nathan's own kids were left too afraid to look him in the eyes or talk to him. This just further displays the devil beneath Nathan's public persona, the monster in control of the mask. Ashley was asked point blank if Nathan had ever SA'd any of the children. She said she didn't know. But I have my suspicions. There are censored parts of this investigation in the public records and interviews that make me think this sack of useless flesh and rot was capable of anything. And I think Nathan's darkness stretches even deeper. This is my theory. Ashley said that the night Nathan gave Taylor a peanut butter and mustard sandwich was actually the second time she'd had a reaction like that. Now, why on earth would anyone give a child peanut butter and mustard? Well, as we all know, peanuts and mustard are listed on common food allergy warning labels. I believe that Nathan had a hunch that Taylor might be allergic to one of these, and he was hedging his bets to try and kill her. Then, while she was clearly in anaphylactic shock, he was forcing breath into her mouth, I think actually trying to suffocate her. I can't think of any other reason why he would so desperately want for Ashley to think Taylor was dead that night, other than to get her offside so he could finish the deed without her knowledge. This is just my opinion, but if it's true, then the night that Nathan performed CPR on Blu, I'd hazard a guess he was actually killing the kid, not trying to save him. Maybe that's why Nathan didn't want Ashley around while he was wrapping up the body. I believe he wanted to make sure Blu was dead, and I believe he was trying to do the same thing to Taylor. But Karen and Timothy and Rebecca and everyone that showed up at that house saved that little girl's life. Nathan is one of the worst people to ever walk this earth. I hope prison is a horrible ride for him. I hope everyone inside knows what he did. It'd certainly be a shame if word got around his facility and he ended up coming face to face with that which he forced on others. Regardless, if there is a hell, there's a scalding chair there waiting with his name on it. And then there's Ashley, the most useless mother in the state of Arkansas. Her own sister detested her well before this. Ashley's firstborn son was removed from her care. She never deserved kids. She spent her police interviews feeling sorry for herself and trying to bait the detectives into the idea that she was simply under the control of puppet strings, operated by a monster in the shadows. And while that's somewhat true, there were so many opportunities for her to protect her children. There weren't just signs. She witnessed their slow destruction and failed to act, failed to fight, failed to sacrifice when required. She failed to do what a mother does, even while people who actually cared desperately tried to reach out. Ashley Rolland talks about her daughter like the girl's a mere annoyance, like the 6-year-old was simply in the way of her one true love, like Taylor was her least favorite. For all her sobbing and attempts at pity harvesting, there's still a cold cadence of indifference beneath Ashley's tone. And you know what the sad part is? Taylor misses her, and Ashley doesn't deserve it. But you see, Taylor's love is unconditional, while Ashley only sought Nathan's. Mothers, specifically mothers, do whatever they need to do to protect their babies. And all Ashley did was lead their wounded bodies into the hands of their abuser over and over, through the comfort of lies about love and how it's all going to be okay. But it was never okay. And a woman studying to be a nurse should have known that. Even if Ashley didn't kill or abuse those kids, she certainly allowed them to suffer or die while she stood silent. There's a chair in hell next to Nathan's with a reserved sign melting into its base. One day, Ashley, you shall have your seat. And finally, Sheila Bridges, Nathan's mommy. If what Ashley said is true, you are a weak excuse for a grandparent. I hope Taylor never sees you again. You cared only about protecting your monster of a son. According to reports, at one time, you even told someone that Nathan was innocent. You two are responsible for this madness. You allowed it to get this far when you could have done something, like Karen Rolland did. I don't care what anyone says, Karen Rolland is a saint. To my knowledge, today, Taylor is safe and sound in her care. I'm sure Karen hates the fact that Ashley still totes her last name, but I'm pleased to say that Taylor seems to have made a full recovery and is doing well by all accounts. She smiles, she plays, she has people that care for her, and she truly knows what love feels like. Has she escaped the after effects of her trauma? Of course not. How could she? She can't even understand them yet. But there will be people beside her that will guide her through the darkness for the rest of her life, including us. I want Taylor to know just how valuable she is, and while there's no price tag on that value, I've set up a GoFundMe to start a trust fund for Taylor that she can receive when she's 18. Just a little something to start her life from those of us that see the beauty inside her. A way to say, Taylor, we believe in you, and we're with you. I have no idea how much we can raise, but I'll kick it off with $200 and I'll add more whenever I can. In a time where people will use fundraisers to bolster political beliefs, how about something that everyone on all sides of life can agree is positive? A surviving little girl's fresh start into womanhood. The link is on the screen and in the description down below. If you can give anything to Taylor Rolland, please do. Scumbag Nathan Bridges accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 60 years behind bars for first-degree murder and abuse of a 5-year-old boy. Fleabag Ashley Rolland also pleaded guilty to 2 counts of permitting abuse to a minor and was sentenced to 40 years behind bars. Ashley was actually jumped in prison, but I can't show you that on YouTube. But you can see it on my Patreon along with some of the uncut interviews you heard here. Ours have been edited out. My Patreon is only $1 a month, but you can feel free to give more. So if you want access to that, the link's down below. To make it worth it, I'll donate all of June's Patreon earnings to Taylor's fund. And in the end up, every penny in that fund will go directly to Taylor. Final note. Should either of the wasted bags of dirt in this video come up for parole, I will hound the board with this video and rally troops to let the state know that sick monsters do not belong on our streets. Don't f**k with kids. I'm Mr. Black, and this is One Crime.